ASMR Coffin Radio.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Coffin Radio. I am Heartthrob Rob, and joining me from Santino Brothers is the one, the only Delilah Doom. Delilah, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm just awesome. I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
An amazing match that you had with Auntie Heidi at Santino Brothers. How do you guys put that together? I mean, you guys had everyone in the palm of your hands. The angles that you guys worked, the vignettes. How did that all come together?
Oh my gosh. Well, working with Heidi has been awesome. She's putting out content and just character work that I just haven't seen in a long time, and she's like, it's great. Like, she does comics for every match she's in. She's awesome. But with this whole storyline going in, Eli had an idea. Eli Everfly, because he's the producer at Santino's for these shows, for doing like vignettes but horror, like with Auntie Heidi coming into my dreams. And he had this idea, and Heidi and myself and Eli, we kind of spitballed some things, and we shot what we shot, and Eli's cutting and editing and everything that he did just made it. I don't know if I'm bragging, because I'm in it, so I'm like, that's so good, but I think they came out awesome. You're
not bragging at all. I think it's telling a story. You guys are cool. Like, you're like the super fun bunch of color. She's black and ominous, the darkness, it's very cool. It's a story to tell.
Great. I love them.
I feel like it very much complemented each other very well.
Thank you.
But if we could take it back for a second, how did you first really fall in love with wrestling?
So I was about 10 years old when I was introduced to wrestling. I was hanging out with some of my friends. I think I was in maybe fifth grade,
Mm-hmm.
And they threw on just a random Raw, and China came out, and I instantly fell in love. I've done athletics, I've done like acting and improv, growing up, and sports and all that. So seeing something where you can take all those things, entertainment, improvisation, your athleticism, and you can ball it into this career, this performance art, this entertainment, like, I just fell in love, and I just knew this is what I was meant to be doing.
I love it too. I think people don't realize that you have to mix all that together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is all that. It's a combination of all that.
It's
and,
a lot.
And it's live, and it's the fact that you can really control your destiny, control your own character, create your own gimmick. How did you come up with your gimmick?
So it's funny. I used to wear leg warmers just to training when I first started training every day, and just one of the students there told me, hey, you ever think about doing like an 80s thing? And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense, because I really do. I love the 80s. I dress like I'm from the 80s. Like, everything is true to me, and I really do love Richard Simmons. That's like, he's one of my favorite, most inspirational people, and it just kind of all accumulated. Accumulated. Yeah, sure. I don't know. That's a word that I'm not sure.
It all came together.
It all came together. There it is. Sorry, words and mouth and things. And it just made sense, because it truly is. It's me, but like, it's a cliche, ramped up 100, but it really is.
Yeah.
It truly is. So,
how did you come up with the Robin Sparkles song? Okay, so the very first time I had ever seen you wrestle, my mom is huge 80s, right? So I've grown up, I knew if I hear 80s music, I'm cleaning the house that day, right? So I know every 80s song. So I come out and I see the 80s gimmick, I'm like, I've never heard this 80s song before. I look it up because that's how over you were to me immediately. And I'm like, oh, it's from this fucking show, How I Met Your Mother, everyone loves it. So I'm like, dude, I'm not kidding on everything. If I'm lying, I'm dying. It's like on my playlist, because I bump that song every once in a while. If I'm drunk, I'll bump it.
Catchy.
Yes. How did you come up with it? How'd you get it?
I'm a huge How I Met Your Mother fan. I have 2 tattoos for How I Met Your Mother. So when I came, that episode popped into my mind when trying to figure out what kind of music the very first song I ever came out to was a song by Bikini Kill. I came out to Riot Girl.
There you go.
Riot Girl. That was a one-off.
Punk of you.
I know, right? So random. But then I don't know. I remembered the Robin Sparkles, and her gimmick is kind of like my gimmick, and it just seemed to fit. And when I came out to it the first time, I just knew it gets me pumped. It gets stuck in people's heads. People that know it, they feel like, hey, it kind of gets a connection with certain people, because not everyone knows it's from How I Met Your Mother.
Uh-huh.
So those that know, they're like, hey, and then they're like, oh, it's been stuck in my head for days. I'm like, you're welcome. You're welcome.
I was definitely one of them.
Sorry about that, y'all.
So you make your debut in 2014.
Oh,
what was that like for you when this happens?
Woo! So when I made my debut, I did not feel ready at all. I had only been training for a few months, and they just kind of threw me in there. But luckily, my first match was like a tag match. I started off in Texas, so I was tagging with Jessica James. She's a huge name in Texas back in the early, late 2000s. She's actually making a resurgence. She's coming back. It's so awesome. But it was just nice to be in a tag match because it took a little bit of the nerves away because you had someone there with you who part of the match could help you along, and it didn't, you couldn't quite tell that maybe I didn't know what I was doing. It was a nice first match to just be thrown into because there was more than just me and any opponent. It was me, my partner, and then 2 other people, so they really helped me to get through it and were really supportive.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's fun. Well, fairly quickly, you make your debut in 2014. In August 2016, you actually have a match against Nia Jax on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Can you tell me the process of how that comes down?
So I was originally trained by Funaki.
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
So I'm originally trained by Funaki. He had a dojo. Now he helps another school, but he had a dojo in San Antonio, and I had started training in Austin. And then I made the switch to Funaki School. I was driving from Austin to San Antonio 5 days a week. So that was like a 2-hour drive there and then an hour and a half back to get to work for about a year and a half before I moved there. But Funaki gave me the opportunity to do extra work when WWE came to Texas. And so that was awesome. So I got to be an extra, and we had tryout matches one of the days. And actually, I believe it was Alley Cat now. Mm-hmm. We got paired to do, just kind of get in the ring for a little bit. Not like a real full match, but just kind of see what we can do. And she just helped put me over because I'm so little, and it was for the match with Nia. So Alley Cat really helped me out, where she made me look great, and they were like, okay, we want to use you. And so, yeah, and then I get put in that infamous spot where I get pushed off the top rope and just kind of, they asked me, Arn Anderson was like, you've done this before, right? And I was like, I got you, no worries. Yeah, I totally have done this before. Told Nia, I have not done this before, but it's going to be fine.
Oh, my God.
But it was all fine. It was great. She was a sweetheart.
She was with it?
Oh, yeah, she was a dear.
How much preparation do you guys go beforehand?
So I think she was just kind of coming out at that time, I think.
She was still pretty new, too. Green.
So, we just got in there and we just kind of went over the few things she was going to do. And they actually allowed me to get a little bit of offense in, which I was like, whoa, damn. Not much,
television.
But yeah, so, and I don't know if a lot of people got to see this bit, but I actually cut a promo before the match.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they made me cut it was on live TV. I had to cut a promo. They were calling me Rachel Levy. And I think that was the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life. I had about 2 hours to memorize. It had to be almost word for word, what they gave me to talk about, and I wasn't even thinking about the match portion. I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot botch. I have to. This has to be perfect, and it was it wasn't perfect, but at that time to me, I was like, I nailed it. It was fine. Whew, once I got past that, then I was like, okay, the wrestling, that's just second nature to me.
That's literally what I was going to say. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was it a similar experience when you had a follow-up with Carmella on SmackDown in January 2017 fairly quickly?
I know.
Here you are, within the span of 4 months, on WWE twice.
Yeah.
What was that?
I was so surprised, because it was kind of the same deal where they were trying to find the opponent for Carmella. And I think it was actually Alley Cat again.
God bless her heart.
Because we both lived in Texas at the time, so we were always doing the extra work together. And yeah, we just did a few little things again, and I was like, I was just on TV like a couple months ago, like let's get Alley. They chose me again. I was like, what the heck? I was like, what? So it took me aback because I honestly, I was like, that's not, I wasn't thinking about it. I didn't want to get my hopes up, but. It was great. Sarah Stock was our agent, and we had a match, and then when we got out there, we were doing the thing. They're like, hey, we're cutting most of it, so go right to this spot. So it was a lot of learning live TV, hey, not doing that, you guys got to go here. So that was a great experience. It was, and Carmella was, once again, she was sweet. She's like asking me, what can I give you to make you look good, to make me look good. And I was like, hey, just throw me around. I'll whatever you need, I got you.
And people don't realize that about live TV too. You go from, okay, you guys got 10-minute segment or whatever. Hey, it's now 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Make sure you do this and that. Like,
yeah,
the 2 minutes right beforehand, and all of a sudden you're like,
and, like, I'm so green. I'm so, like, I'm only 2 years, 3 years in, and like I'm green. I am brand new. So it was, like I said, it was a great learning experience. It was scary.
There's wrestling in front of the homies and 200 people, and then there's wrestling in front of 10,000 people all of a sudden.
Yeah,
that's a scary feeling.
Woo! But whew.
Electricity. That's cool.
Ah, man. Whew.
You've had matches against people like Tessa Blanchard, Jessica Havoc, Rosemary, Shotzi Blackheart.
gosh.
Who are some of your favorite opponents?
Dang, they're all wonderful. But I will say I miss wrestling Shotzi. We wrestled we had a feud in Rise.
Mm-hmm.
So I loved working with her. I don't know. We were just down. We were just down for anything, and I just really appreciate that about her. And we just went, and even we were both still green at the time too, but it didn't matter. We were going out there giving our heart and just giving our all and beating the shit out of each other, and it was creating magical moments. So Shotzi's one of my favorite. Ruby Ray's, I wrestled her more than I can count on 2 hands, I believe. And we're always, because we've wrestled so many times, it's a challenge where we're like, well, we don't want to do the same thing. And it's awesome because you're like, okay, well, we need to create something new. And I think that's one of my things I love about wrestling is that you have to keep creating and come up with different ideas or different way to get into things or a different story to tell, and it's just endless. And I one of the reasons I fell in love with wrestling is just creativity and creating content and all that. It's endless, and you just got to keep your brain juices going. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sorry.
No, I love
I'm awkward. I don't know how to end my sentences.
No,
I'm like, and yes.
You're so perfect, man. I love it. You also had, some time at Impact Wrestling. What was that experience like for you?
Oh, man, that was awesome. That was, I got asked like last minute to do it, so I was like, oh, dang. But I got to work with Alicia and Tessa, and it was, luckily it was pre-taped because I botched something and I had to but thank God they were taping it. So they're all very nice, very sweet. I would love to go back. I'm hoping that another opportunity comes because I would love the roster they have at Impact, just the grounds they're breaking. They had the women's Ultimate X. Is that what it's called? I don't want to name it the wrong thing.
Where Jordan
they climb they climb
I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
X or whatever, something like that.
Okay, if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, guys. Don't sue me.
Cancel. Just cancel.
Oh my gosh.
You're fine.
But no, I just love the things they're doing and just the ground they're breaking, and people get to wrestle other people, and that's it. It's not split by gender. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I love it. Speaking of genders, you are in a relationship with another wrestler as well. What is that like? With you guys, the DoomFly, one of the hottest, couples in the game right now. Oh. What is that like for you guys? What is it like being a wrestler married to a wrestler?
For us, it's great. He's my best friend, and
that should be
right. And we're definitely our each other's hardest critics. So I just know, if he's critiquing something or it's all because it's coming from a good place because he knows that the best that I can be and vice versa, and we just help bring it out of each other. And Eli is one of the most passionate people I've ever met in this business. A lot of people don't get to see that side, but he writes, he directs, he produces aside from just wrestling, and he's so smart, and just the ideas that he comes up with and the way he likes to do things, it's just very inspiring, and it's awesome. I don't know how it's wonderful, and I just love the fact that we met because we wrestled each other, and it just it just was meant to be.
And plus, you talk wrestling all day, or I'd imagine. You have other interests, whatever, but the passion that you guys both have. That's so cool.
It's all wrestling, pretty much 24/7.
That's so cool. You have an upcoming match against Chelsea Green.
I'm so
what do you
excited.
have in mind or planned so that you can beat her?
Well, she's the hot mess.
Yeah, she is.
She's the hot mess, and I'm going to use my aerobics and my quickness to kind of get her off balance, I think. But no, I'm super stoked for that match. I love Chelsea. I think I've only been in matches with her in scrambles, and I don't actually think her and I've actually laid hands on each other before. Oh. So I think it's a first time matchup. I have a really bad memory, so I hope I'm right. So I believe it's a first time matchup, which just makes it, just even better, just because it's never happened before. So the the possibilities are endless.
Very cool.
And so I'm really excited.
I'm excited to see that one as well. That's going to be at Prestige Wrestling.
Yes.
Where else can people follow you? What upcoming events do you have?
Oh my
Where can
gosh.
people follow you on social media?
Follow me on social media. I've got the Instagram. It's just Delilah_Doom, but the O's are zeros. And then Twitter, Delilah_Doom as is. I have a link tree up as well. You can get merch on my Water Maneuver store or my Brainbuster Tees store.
Pro Wrestling Tees?
And Pro Wrestling Tees as well, but I don't like to talk about Pro Wrestling
never
Tees.
mind,
We're going to Water Maneuver, y'all.
Water Maneuver.
Water Maneuver.
Oh, Water Maneuver is where it's at.
Yes.
Okay, I like it.
And yes. Yes.
Perfect.
I'm so awkward. I'm sorry.
No, you're great. I love it. Delilah Doom, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Santino Brothers. I love it so much.
Thanks
Thank
for coming
you so
out.
much.
We really appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Tonight.
We appreciate y'all. Thank you very much for all your support and love. And we just love y'all.
For Delilah Doom, I am Heartthrob Rob. And if you like what you're watching, then hop in the coffin. Follow us on social media at Coffin Radio. Coffin is spelled with a K.
Okay.
And that's all for today.
ASMR Coffin Radio.